Hi, I'm Derek, and your clients hire you to manage their construction project from start to finish to pre-construction. If you want to be able to manage a project at a high level, you're going to need a solid system. I'm going to be sharing with you exactly what you need to get in place in order to do that. All right, so before we get started, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Best way to grow your business, subscribe to the channel. All right, so we're gonna be sharing with you 3 different areas today of specifics of what you need in place in order to have a project management system for your construction projects. Having this system in place is gonna provide you with just a solid process of how to go from A to Z, manage a project effectively, make sure it's running smoothly, and do it repetitively and consistently, and that's what it's all about, right? So first thing, number 1, is you gotta have some proper software in place, right? It's so important nowadays, especially you have to know how to use technology, how to choose the right software that's going to produce the results that you want. So the big one that most construction companies are going to turn to is your project management software, your CRM, whatever you want to call it. And there's a whole bunch of them out there. And the big ones are Buildertrend, Co-Construct, Construction Foreman, I think is another one. I've seen a bunch of other ones. There's some even ones that aren't construction specific, but generally in these programs, this kind of software, you're going to be wanting to make sure you get the most out of it and make sure to reach out to the tech support. Generally, these companies they have a vested interest in making sure that you succeed with their software. So utilize their free support or paid support, whatever it is, to make sure that you're utilizing the software effectively, or hire a coach like myself who can help you set things up, get it working, and make sure that process is actually implemented properly in your business and the guys are following it and using it. The second type of software that you're going to be looking to make sure is in order is your bookkeeping software, making sure that, again, you're utilizing it properly with cost codes and time tracking for your guys, making sure you know what your overhead and markup is, what your cost of goods sold is. Just all the categories are in check, and you've got a system for running this on a regular basis, whether that's a bookkeeper or admin on your team, making sure the books are in order, making sure you can see reports and know what's going on, keep a pulse on the financials of your business, make sure things are going off the deep end and your ship is sinking even though you think you got money in the bank when that's actually you're unprofitable. So tragic story, it happens. The third kind of softwares that you want to be looking at, there's a whole bunch out there, but these will just be your general sort of management softwares of like things to help you with time management or help you with appointment setting, file management. So Zapier is a great one for using when you want to kind of automate between different softwares. Calendly is another one for booking appointments. Great software, easy, saves all the back and forth of like, hey, are you available Tuesday at 2 o'clock? Well, no, I got an appointment. How about this day and that day? Cut all that out. Have a calendar like Google Calendar or your iCalendar or something like that. Use Calendly and it'll automatically know when you're open and people can book appointments. Very easy. I like Google Drive. There's lots of cloud, file management software out there, but Google Drive with the Google Sites and Sheets and Docs, everything works together very well to keep documents in order, keep it in place. It's always live. You can share it. You can collaborate on them, keep notes on them. So there's a whole suite. There's lots of different ones out there, but finding the right one for your business, for your tech level and what works with your other software in your business is super important. So getting that software in place and figuring out what you're going to use and how you're going to use it is going to be part of the foundation of then you can start to build out the rest of your project management, system, the stuff that's, not the tech stuff, but the actual processes of what you're doing on site and your documents and how everything kind of works together. So are you with me? Is that making sense? On to number 2. So the second place we're going to look at is your pre-construction. When you're managing a project, planning and making sure everything's ordered before you start is so super essential. And a mistake I see a lot of new guys making is, they get a kitchen renovation, they get a bathroom renovation. It's like, all right, let's jump in. Let's, get the deposit. Let's get guys there. We told them we could do this in a week and a half or, in a month or whatever, something ridiculous. And it's like, just all, pull out all the stops and go full bore, but you haven't really set anything up. You haven't gone through the proper pre-construction, phase of a project to make sure that, hey, is everything ordered? Is everything ready on time? Do we have things selected? Do we know what we're putting in? Have we, ironed out all the financial details so we know we're even going to be profitable on this project. So doing the scheduling, working out the schedule, generally you're gonna wanna have a Gantt chart or card view or whatever, but if you're using proper software systems, you'll definitely have a proper scheduling component of it. And then budget. So budget's super important. Make sure that when you're going into a project, you know where your budget is at. You know what the different materials are going to cost, and not just guessing and hoping for the best. The other thing that you want to be looking at in the pre-construction is the design. So you may be working with a designer, or maybe you've kind of offload that to the clients because they kind of know what they want, or you're leaving it up to them to choose which selections they want. But no matter who's doing the design or how it's coming together, the design needs to be in place. So you as the contractor need to communicate with your client that, hey, I need all of this stuff selected. I need to know what we're putting into your project, first from a budget standpoint, second from an ordering standpoint, and we need to do this before we get started. So, help them with that process again, depending how involved you are, but the design should be figured out. You should have, plans in place if you need plans, renderings, all that pre-construction stuff. If you get that done, then you are in a good place that when you hit the go button and you tell them, hey, we're going to be there, we're going to start a demo, you're going to have guys lined up, you're going to have your scheduling lined up, everything's going to come together so much easier. They're going to be things that, come out of nowhere and screw up your schedule and screw up your budget. Yeah, but at least you've gone through the pre-planning so that that's minimized, and you are hopefully kind of expecting, a few things in there with some buffers and stuff like that, and no big surprises. So that's the second part. All right, moving on to the third part. You're still with me here. This is the specifics. This is where I'm gonna tell you about exact standard processes. So which actual documents, which actual processes are you gonna need to start putting in your tool belt of your project management system? And the first one is after that pre-construction is the setup process. So you should have step-by-step setup process for starting a new project. So you got to purchase your demo supplies, you got to purchase your site protection, you got to get it to site, you got to get a sign set up, you got to maybe get what to expect document to the clients, or a phone call, or whatever. So you're going to have a list of things that you need to do when when it's go day and you're ready to go, so that you're showing up, you're professional, and things are organized, and you're not forgetting anything. Your safety's in place, guys are in place, schedules in place, everybody has the right information that they need. So whatever that process is for you when you start a new project, you should have a process for that. Quality checks, so super important, quality control, quality assurance. You should have, again, a checklist in place. And if this is overwhelming, which, if you don't have any of this yet, it will be. And, there's a lot to it. Put a comment down below. Ask me questions if you got them, or just reach out to me. My company helps people with all these standard documents, providing you with templates, providing you with the documentation, providing you with the process, helping you work through it, implementing it, all that stuff. Make it, streamlined, much easier than trying to figure it all on your own. If you're one of those do-it-yourself guys, go ahead, have at it. Quality checks, it's going to be a checklist, right? So punch list of what you need to be looking at in a project when you walk on. So if you generally have a rough-in inspection, or framing checks, so you're gonna be checking your framing room by room, making sure all the different things that you need to look at framing, right? Level, plumb, no nails sticking out, door openings are proper. Have a list of all the different things you need to check out. Same with rough-ins, electrical lights are in the right spot, switches are in the right spot, plumbing, all those kind of things, right? So quality checks, generally you're gonna have pre-board inspection check done, and then some sort of punch list at the end when you're 95% there, and you need to figure out all the last little bits and pieces that people may have to come back to take care of deficiencies and that kind of stuff. So client walkthroughs, another good part of the process is having regular scheduled client walkthroughs. If they're living in the home, it's a little different, but you still want to have a time inside a project, kind of similar to your quality checks of pre-board, walk through the project. Hey, does this door make sense? Hey, does this switch make sense? Hey, this is where your toilet's gonna be, and this is have them kind of envision the space that they're gonna live in when it's still just studs and rough-ins and things like that, so that they know, hey, I don't like that I have to reach, across here to get at the toilet paper holder, or, why is that fan in a weird place? Shouldn't it be over here? So have them walk through, nip all that stuff in the bud before you hit drywall, before you get to the end, and then they're looking around at their painted ceiling and wondering why the pot lights are, not lined up. So generally again, pre-board, and then at the end, right? After you've done your quality assurance, you have them come through, final, checking everything out, making sure everything's jiving for them. And then other standard processes is documentation documentation and photos. So documenting, what's going on in site, using photos as far as like daily or at least every other day or so. Where do you keep those photos? How do you use them? Different things like that. And then finally, for the standard processes, something you want to have in place is your project manager guides and your trade guides. So this is something, again, not a lot of companies utilize, especially on the smaller like renovation home builder side of things, but having a guide for your project managers to follow, or even yourself if you're the project manager right now and you're still wearing that hat, of like a guide of like how to operate and manage a project properly, like a training guide. And that training guide should also incorporate is happening on that project, as well as like the different checklists and just the whole process of an overview of a guide for them. And then also a trade guide of like what you expect of your trades, quality wise, communication wise, like all those kind of things, right? So if you have all these processes in place, your jobs are going to run so much smoother. You're going to have repetition, right? And consistency. When you have trades come on site, they're like, oh, I'm working for XYZ builders. This is what I do. I follow this process. This is how they like to do it. And things work out better because we know what's happening, right? Or if you have a new trade or whatever. So if you want more help with this, check out the description below. There is a free course, great information. It's called How to Build a Business That Works Without You. And it's all about helping you systematize your businesses, what you need to be thinking about, the benefits, the processes, how to start writing, standard operating procedures. So wealth of information. Make sure you check it out. Click the link, get signed up. It's free. Go through the course and just utilize the content and start building your business so you're not running around like crazy, trying to put out fires, create a smooth running business. Here's to the best with your project management systems. I hope you're very successful and they go off without a hitch.